Hello everybody, my name is Bronwyn and welcome to my channel. Today I thought we'd have a look at the Smith-Waite Centennial edition and the Tarot Vintage and just sort of compare the colors and just have a look at the differences, because when I was looking for comparisons I couldn't really find anything. So hopefully the light in here is okay today. It's not too dark. It is a little bit shady, but we'll see how it goes. So I've taken the decks out of the boxes just to make it quicker. The Smith-Waite Centennial comes in just your typical tuck box. It's a US Games publication. The Tarot Vintage comes in a two-piece box with a black inside. It's like a linen texture almost. It's really nice. It's a Lo Scarabeo deck. So the outside also has that sort of linen texture. The only issue with this box, which is a pet peeve of mine, is it does not have thumb cutouts. So if you close the box when the deck's not in it, it's a little difficult to get the box back open. So I'm not going to close it again. All right, so now the decks. So this is the Centennial that most people who are familiar with tarot are familiar with, and this is the Tarot Vintage here. So I was gonna have a quick look at guidebooks, but honestly the Smith-Waite Centennial just comes with a little weight book, and the Lo Scarabeo comes with this actually not bad little book. It's got like a matte finish on the cover, and it's got, let's see if it has a table of contents. Well, it's got 4 languages, so English, Italian, Spanish, and Portuguese. You have some intro, and some numerology info about the quartz, some spreads, and then this is what you get for each of the majors. So a small write-up, a little bit more than you get in a little weight book, but not a whole lot extra. And let's see what we get for the minors. So that's about it. Just a little, just some keywords basically. I'm going to open this curtain a little wider and see if that improves the lighting situation. Oops, sorry guys, I bumped the camera. All right, so these are the backs of the 2 different cards, and I bumped it again. Size-wise, the Lo Scarabeo or the Tarot Vintage is narrower and a little bit shorter as well. I don't know if you can see the difference there. Let's see if I turn it this way maybe. It's hard because they both have borders, but it's a little narrower and slightly shorter. As far as cardstock, the Centennial is a nice thicker cardstock, a little bit waxy, and the Lo Scarabeo, it's different than any of their other decks that I've got. Actually, it's a little like a semi-gloss, but it's not the same as their premium decks that are more laminated. It's not laminated really that way, but it's also a bit thicker than their usual tuck box cardstock. So yeah, I don't really have anything I can compare it to as far as Lo Scarabeo goes. So the Smith-Waite is a little bit of a thicker deck. All right, so let's have a look at the cards. I'm just gonna zoom in a bit here. All right. So obviously right off the bat, the Fool, it has a lot more of the yellows and blues. Like the colors have been largely removed from the Vintage, and you have this like antiqued sort of like tea-stained look in the background of the cards. So it's quite muted compared to the Centennial, which is interesting because I consider the Centennial like super muted. I I do love the use of color in the Tarot Vintage though. You get some really nice blues and greens. Emperor, the Hierophant. I really like this orange. The Lovers. So it's really quite subtle, like the blue in the clouds, as opposed to the Centennial. I love both of these. It really does have an aged effect on the Hermit here, like in the background on the blue. I don't know if that's picking up on camera. I love this star. There's something about the blues, the shades of blue in the Tarot Vintage that are really beautiful. Same with the moon. And one thing that I've noticed on the Tarot Vintage is the antiquing on the cards is not uniform on the fronts. So if you spread it, you're not going to see like a pattern appearing, if that makes sense. Like if you fan them this way, they're not all the same aging effect. However, on the backs, they are. So see how when I fan it, you get like this line of, because it's all the same on the backs. It's kind of funny too. I thought that I preferred the Vintage, but now that I see them next to each other, I still think I prefer my Centennial. They're both beautiful though. Just quite different, obviously. Here we can see again, there's like the blues in the clouds on the Tarot Vintage. The Centennial, they're more gray. I love this Two of Swords. This is one of the cards. This and the Sun and the, or sorry, the Star and the Moon cards really sold me on the Vintage. Three of Swords. Yeah, so the background colors seem to have been removed on most of the cards. Like the sky isn't blue, obviously, except in this card. This is another one that I love. That really distressed sort of aged look. Again with the 8, really see it. And it's gonna get hard now that I'm at the bottom of the pile to really separate them. I'm gonna have to grab them from the top, I think. Now we're getting some shadows now that the sun seems to be coming out. So I hope this was useful to somebody who has been looking to compare these two, maybe wondering about getting the vintage if you've got the Centennial. And yeah, so that's my little comparison video. Overall, I do still think I prefer the Centennial. I mean, really, honestly, you can't go wrong with this deck. It's just, there's something about it. It's a nice chunk deck. The colors are gorgeous, but there's still pretty, there's still a pretty good range of colors. And then the vintage, also very beautiful. Anyways, yeah, so I hope you guys have an awesome day. And if you like my videos, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.